the number 11 ranked Philadelphia Hooligans taking on number 27 Collision Men's Derby, hailing from North Carolina. While the Hooligans finish their warm-up, I'll introduce them to you. Wearing black, those are the Philly Hooligans. 0, Grosso. 11, Mainframe. 16, Speed Tree. 13, Beast. 245, Zombicidal Maniac. 4, Nurse Ratchet. 44, Sharkskin. 440, Ventura. 5, D-Day. 58, Schuler. 610, Half. 8, Yosemite Slam. 899, General So Fine. 9, T-Ice. 90, Betty Switch. They're facing off against Collision Roller Derby from North Carolina in blue. Over on their bench at the moment, we have 001, Mighty Mouth. 10, Blake Harkey. 1111, Rushdie Nails. 1358, Brick House. 185, Slinging Grits. 24, Matt Daddy. 26, Hit or Miss. 317, Kid. 329, Admiral Pack Bar. 42, Waltercation. 52, Boomerang. 64, Crash Bandicootie. 74, Nathan. 8, Juice Box. 8086, JB Groans. And 999, Easy Button. We'll be getting things started in just a couple of moments. Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2017 is brought to you by Mass Maelstrom Roller Derby, our host league here at the Wallace Civic Center at Fitchburg State University in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. My name is Beautiful Banshee. I'll be bringing you the Derby action. Be back with you in just a moment. Okay. Big thanks to our sponsors, the Daily Bagel Cafe, located at 582 North Main Street, Leominster, Massachusetts, thedailybagelcafe.com. They are pretty great, and if you ever have the opportunity while you're in the Fitchburg area, check them out. I had a spinach dill bagel today, topped with lox, cream cheese, and capers, and it was absolutely delicious, if I do say so myself. Also, Dippin' Donuts at 235 Lunenburg Street in Fitchburg. Skip chain donut shops and go local, boasting over 50 flavors of coffee, plus breakfast sandwiches and fresh bakery items made from scratch daily. Make your way to Dippin' Donuts. Huge thanks to our officials crew. We have 2 rotating crews of skating referees and non-skating officials. Those are the members of Team Zebra in those black and white stripes on skates, if you didn't guess. Also, off skates, we have non-skating officials in either black or baby blue, MRDA blue. They take care of all of the stats and other great things like tracking penalties for us, and everyone is kept safe because the officials care, and they volunteer their time and are incredibly dedicated. So thank you again. This tournament would not be possible without you. If you are just joining us, Philly Hooligans in black taking on Collision Men's Derby in blue. Kind of appropriate for Derby, black and blue, because all of those really fun bruises. Your jammers are Grosso for the Hooligans and Matt Daddy for Collision. Pack is picking up some speed. We have Matt Daddy pushing it out against a very firm 2-wall at the front of the pack. Collision getting aggressive, using a little O, but going right back to playing D. We have a skating out of bounds against Blue 001. That would be Mighty Mouth. So off to the box he goes. Lead going to Grosso. And since Collision did not get lead, it appears Matt Daddy has passed the star to Brick House. The jam is called before Collision can pick up any points. 4 points up for Penn Jersey Hooligans. Don't forget, if you are on social media and you're watching from home, or perhaps maybe you're in the house and you're catching the stream as well, you can make sure to communicate with us via the hashtag Talk2, that's the number 2, Talk2 Bob H. Get it, Bob H, Battle of Bunker Hill. Back to the track, Rusty Nails facing off against Beast. Beast taking lead for Hooligans. Beast had a great showing earlier, and I know that his kids were watching. Don't know if they're chiming in now, but if so, hey guys, thanks for checking it out. Also, coolest dad ever. Sending one collision blocker to the box. Rusty Nails still caught up behind a tough 3-wall of Hooligans. The pack caught between turns 3 and 4. The jam is called. They're 13-0. Hooligans ahead. 27.5 minutes remain in the first half. Also, big thank you to Keels from Bay State Brawlers. She was my production assistant until 5 o'clock today. It was great to have her. She did an excellent tweet cast for us via my Twitter and made sure that we were reaching out to everyone. She'll be playing in the WFTDA game tonight. On the track, that's Betty Switch with lead. Blake Harkey is the collision jammer who picks up, I believe it was a forearm call, leaving power jam for Betty Switch. Tiptoeing around the apex at turn 4. 4 points up. Oh no, that is 5. I apologize. Wife Apathic has a teeny tiny thumb. It was hard to see. Beating out that last blocker from Collision. Betty Switch racks up another grand slam. Pack come to a standstill in turn 2. Yosemite Slam with a little bit of into the straightaway. Doesn't yield the 5-point results that Betty Switch was hoping for, but she picks up 4 nonetheless. Biggest jam thus far, 13 points for Betty Switch, bringing Hooligans to 26. Oh, I apologize. 14 points, bringing it to 27-0. If you're lucky enough to be in-house this weekend, if not today, then maybe tomorrow. I do spy some merch from a few of the different teams. Looks like Toronto has some merch as well as Collision. Lead to number 5. That would be D-Day. Hooligans out front, and Boomerang is the collision jammer. Some strong opposition from the Hooligans pivot. Pack slowing it down into turn 4. A tripod of blue blockers holding D-Day. But D-Day using some aggressive shoulder skills to break free. 5-point grand slam to Hooligans. Juking left, juking right, and heading right up the inside line on those toe stops. D-Day puts 5 more up on the board. Star is passed to number 42, Waltercation on Collision. Pack coming around between turns 3 and 4. Woo! And D-Day looks relieved. Gets through that one last time, adds 5 more. or perhaps 4 in that case. I believe the other jammer point was not counted. Score is now 41-0. Special thanks to Turn 2 Skate Shop in Portland, Maine. They're a roller derby-based skate shop operated by Kissy Kicks of Rock Coast Rollers. You'll get to see her skate tonight. And Grim Demise of Casco Bay Gentlemen's Derby. Turn 2 Skate Shop strives for personable customer service while properly outfitting veteran and aspiring derby players from all around the world. We're lucky to have them here. And guess what? All of the action is at Turn 2. Turn2skateshop.com. Visit them in Portland, Maine. Or if you're here tomorrow, I believe they'll be here too. Back to the track. Start is passed. Grasso is your lead jammer for Hooligans, not Collision. Collision recently played at the K-Town Shakedown at the end of April. They took a loss against the Cincinnati Battering Rams, 162-134. Also to Drive-By City, 150-144. Both very close games, as well as a loss to the Norsemen, 187-152. On the track, looks like General Sofine taking Rusty Nails to the infield in turn 2. Betty Switch keeps lead, but is facing a tough cube of Collision blockers. Pack picks up a little speed as Betty Switch keeps pushing. 5-point grand slam, Hooligans. Starting off with a nice empty penalty box. We like that. Have a nice even matchup, 4-on-4 blocker-wise. Your jammers are Beast and Blake Harkey. If you're just joining us, we have Collision Men's Derby in blue and Hooligans in black. Lead going to Beast. Hooligans slowing it down on Blake Harkey. Harkey able to eventually break free from the pack. 4 points up for Beast on the last pass. The jam is called. Now, I had mentioned Collision's recent experience at K-Town Shakedown. Back in February, they also played at the C Cup. It was a 50-50 shot for them there, where they took a loss against the Carolina Wrecking Balls, 215-86, but they won against Casco Bay, 292-93. So this experience at Battle of Bunker Hill, where they're returning, as they played here last year, gives them an opportunity to make up for some of those losses at K-Town Shakedown. D-Day back out there with lead up against Boomerang. Boomerang coming into turn 2 on the apex. Hooligan defense was too much to move. Also jam called before any additional point. Oh, no, Collision drew their first blood. 2 points. And it was also a 2-point jam for Hooligans, so our score is 56-2. 19.5 minutes remain in the first half, because a whole half remains after, as we know. An attempt at an apex jump coming from Matt Daddy. takes him to the infield, able to cycle back behind the pack as it moves into turn 2. Grosso takes lead first. Right at the inside line, a running jump from Matt Daddy. He wants it, and he wants it bad. He wants to catch Grosso. Looks like we may have a jammer race, but the pack is sped up. Let's see how Grosso makes it work. A nice aggressive hit on the pivot, 13:58 for Collision. That would be Brickhouse. He tended to bounce off that brick wall, so at least he didn't hit the floor, right? Not gonna lie, I'm tempted to start singing the Commodore song, Brickhouse, but I'll spare all of you at home. Pack advantage to Collision. So we have one Hooligans blocker in the box. Rusty Nails in blue with the Collision star up against Betty Switch. Stellar performance today from Betty Switch, although she just ended up in the penalty box, so power jam for Rusty Nails it is. Also lead. Coming out of the box, Speed Tree right on Rusty Nails, leading into the tripod in the front of the pack, despite some assistance. Not enough. Admiral Pakbar said it's a trap. Pack lines up at the pivot line. Blake Harkey facing off against Beast. Beast with lead. A big hit from Brickhouse sends Yosemite Slam to the infield. Collision working to contain the pack. Takes Beast to the infield. Pack is speeding up as it emerges into turn 3. Getting a little messy out there, but not messy for Beast. Hop, skipping, and jumping on the apex. 5 in the sky. Hearing lots of communication out there on the track in anticipation of jammers. Collision not able to keep Beast at bay. Pack has slowed down into turn 2. Collision defense at the front, taking it all the way into the straightaway to turn 3. Not enough to hold Beast. It appears that he was able to push them apart. Blake Harkey still working at it, but it appears Yosemite Slam, with the help of Ventura, able to hold him. Now at the front of the pack, Yosemite Slam on the outside turn, impressively able to take Blake Harkey out. The drawback coming from Hef. Harkey is visibly frustrated, understandably so. I would be too if I had Yosemite Slam sitting on me like that. Biggest jam thus far, 23 points. Courtesy of Beast brings your score to 80 points. Hooligans, 6 points. Collision. Just under 15 minutes remain in the first half. As mentioned previously, Collision Men's Derby, this is not their first foray at Battle of Bunker Hill. They appeared last year at the inaugural event. They won over Capital District Trauma Authority, 240 to 182. Lost to Mass Maelstrom, 356 to 64. Also lost to the Mont Royals, 277 to 78. And to the Hooligans last year, 337-72. So this is definitely a rematch. I know that they would love to be able to make some gains. taking a quick timeout. It appears for some track maintenance. Special shout out to Tim, aka Andrew Lloyd Shredder. He is our track ninja today, and he is fantastic. Pack taking some space from the jammer line. You've got Boomerang versus D-Day. If you're just joining us, we have Philadelphia Hooligans in black. D-Day is their jammer, able to use those shoulders and some quick feet coming around the outside. D-Day's jamming against Boomerang for Collision. Collision's in blue. D-Day keeping a watchful eye and able to call before any points are scored on Collision's behalf. And just 1 point for Hooligans on that. But it's a worthy 1 point. He earned that 1 point. A familiar matchup due to a tight jammer rotation. That's Grosso up against Matt Daddy. Lead in the Hooligans' favor. The pack residing around the pivot line. Although divided, we have Collision pivot attempting to take the star, and it appears the star was passed. Working on getting out of the pack. That was to number 74, Nathan. He's now put the star on his helmet. We have a legal star pass. I believe Nathan is on the scoring. 4 points up for Collision. Grosso working his way around. Able to call it before additional points are scored by Collision. A 9-4 jam in the Hooligans' favor. 90-10, 80-point lead in favor of Hooligans. About 12.5 minutes remain in the first half. And don't forget, stick around after this last MRDA game for a special presentation, a WFTDA sanctioned game featuring our local team, Bay State Brawlers Punishers, taking on Rock Coast Rollers Perfect Storm. He'll be in for a treat. Oso Blanco Fabuloso will be here to walk you through it. I'll be on the house, and as we know, my work is never done. On the track, a great deal of melee. That is Betty Switch versus Rusty Nails. Nails having lead for Collision, I do believe, for the first time this evening. Rusty Nails makes the call off. It appears there may have been some impact causing some pain. This happens, as we know. Oh, my heart goes out to you, Rusty. I hope one of our medics gets you some ice. 2 points up for Hooligans. The Hooligans favoring a lineup that's just a couple of feet off the line. Able to detain Blake Harkey for just a little bit. Appears a forearm call on Blake Harkey, leaving a power jam in the hands of Beast. Lead to his credit. Hooligans poised to assist their jammer and also switch to passive offense if necessary. But I don't think there's anything possibly passive about the Penn Jersey Hooligans. Not at all. Collision keeping it in the front. Trying to be mindful of potential picks. But Sea Ice able to get in the middle thwarting the effort. Ventura able to knock Blake Harkey to the infield, pops back in quickly, manages to go out, but so did the skater who hit him, so he's able to come right back in. Beast with the quick call off. Although almost looked like the robot dance. I don't know. Could be starting the on-track dance party a little early. (105-10). Heading into Jam 16, 9.5 minutes remain. Your Jammers are Boomerang in blue and D-Day in black lead to D-Day. Although Boomerang not far from D-Day, perhaps some Jammer interaction may happen. We'll see. Boomerang looks determined. Hell-bent, I'd say. However, not able to catch D-Day before the jam is called, keeping it at goose eggs. Grasso is back at it versus Matt Daddy. Collision defense extending into a tripod in the front. That would be Brickhouse, the pivot, giving a little booty knock, but not enough to hold back Grasso. Lead to the Hooligans. While Matt Daddy getting a little help. Looks like Brickhouse playing some Matt Daddy back in with the stash. Matt Daddy taken to the infield by Speed Tree with the run back between Speed Tree and Hef. Ventura able to give Matt Daddy a knock. Matt Daddy reaches over the tripod, able to hand off to Brickhouse. Brickhouse takes the starts, not on his helmet yet. Has to get cycled to the back of the pack after getting knocked to the infield. Facing initially a cube of Hooligans, dropped to a braced 2-wall. That braced 2-wall takes Brickhouse to the outfield. Hooligans doing a great job keeping Brickhouse back into turn 4, pushing up through the straightaway into turn 1, but taken back to the infield. Pack keeping it slow. One thing the Hooligans are incredible, just absolutely incredible at in the pack, is slowing things down and running them back. Basically running the clock on a jammer and wearing them out. Kudos to those Hooligans. They managed to keep Brickhouse in turn 2 right at the straightaway, almost to a point of, hey, I guess I can't pass. 125-10 after a 20-point jam from Penn Jersey. 6.5 minutes remain. We've talked about Collision's record this year. How about those Hooligans? At March Madness, on March 4th and 5th this year, they had 3 losses while at March Madness, but point differentials not necessarily the worst thing. They lost to Magic City Misfits 207-129, New York Stock Exchange 191-121, San Diego Aftershocks 312-104. They had a separate sanctioned game back in February where they won over Toronto's Outrage 259-112. There will not be a rematch here at Battle of Bunker Hill, as Toronto is slated to play Tampa tomorrow, and the Hooligans have a matchup against Casco Bay. But it should be lots of fun anyway. Not to mention, we have an exclusive B team matchup to end the day tomorrow at 5 p.m. It will be the Penn Jersey Shenanigans, their B team, taking on the Berserkers of Mass Maelstrom Roller Derby. Pat getting a little speedy. Collision trying to hold Betty Switch. She is pushing it out. Rusty Nails still in the pack. Betty breaks first, penalty free, taking lead. Rusty Nails also out about a quarter lap behind Switch. Pack is picking up a little bit of speed in the straightaway into turn one. Betty Switch able to make a quick pass and hit. She puts up 3. Yosemite Slam hanging out up at the front of the pack with Collision as their pivot, utilizes the pivot line out the gate with a hop, skip, and a leap. That is beast. He is a graceful beast, if I do say so myself. That took care of the initial pass. On the scoring right now, Beast puts up 3 and does not disappoint in the form of showmanship either. I don't know. I can't help it. I'm impressed. About 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the first half. Your score is 130 for the Hooligans, Penn Jersey Hooligans specifically, to 10 for Collision Men's Derby. Throughout the venue, we have some great activity happening. You can see the Punishers from Bay State Brawlers warming up for their matchup coming up next against Rock Coast Rollers Perfect Storm. That should be a treat, as those teams are quite closely matched. I believe numbers 77 and 78 respectively. 177 and 178, I apologize. Collision Men's Derby has called an official timeout or official review. I'll have information for you shortly on that. Some details on that official review. There was a request for a backlog call from Collision against the Black Jammer. The call will not stand, and they have officially used that official review. back to the track. That was a 4.4-4 jam for Hooligans and Collision, 134-14. Just under 4 minutes remain in the first half. Pack advantage to the Hooligans as one collision blocker stands in the penalty box. Grasso taken to the infield, cycles back. Brickhouse attempting to pull a cut. Grasso thankfully was too smart for that, but then gets cycled back into turn 4, so that's not exactly fun either. Matt Daddy also in the pack. No lead has been declared. Lead to Grasso. Matt Daddy stashes the star in an attempt just to make the initial. Is able to stay inbounds and in play despite a big hit from Speed Tree toward the infield. Grasso gets through, hits, quits. 4 points up. Penalty box has emptied out. Nice full pack. Rusty Nails and Betty Switch are your jammers. Rusty Nails facing a tripod. Now down to a pairing of Hooligans. Able to step around as the Hooligans are broken up ever so slightly, but they very quickly reform. Betty Switch able to break around Brickhouse, although that mean shoulder held her for a few seconds. Collision down one blocker in the box. Pack picking up speed. Coming to a screeching halt right before turn 3. Betty Switch encouraging her team to take the speed up a notch. Makes the call. 2 points to Betty Switch. 1 point to Rusty Nails. Their score is now 140 Hooligans, 16 Collision. Minute 20 seconds remains. In the first half, of course. Because you need to come back for the half-hour conclusion. 3-on-3 blocker matchup. As our collision blocker, we've got one in the box. Looks like that could be Grits. Yes. And the Hooligans pivot is taking a seat. Although Grits standing at the moment. Oh, this is the quickest jam ever. Excuse me, Oso Blanco Fabuloso is off to my side, so I got the non-agreement. And if you hear little giggles, it's totally him. Okay, the quickest jam ever was brought to you by an official timeout. The Battle of Bunker Hill is brought to you by the fantastic Mass Maelstrom Roller Derby here in central Massachusetts. Specifically, this event at the Wallace Civic Center at Fitchburg State University. And did you know that if you come to visit us today or tomorrow here in Fitchburg, you can get some excellent derby supplies from Turn 2 Skate Shop. We'll talk about that more later. It appears Beast got out of the pack, however, picks up a cutting the track penalty, power jam, and lead credited to Collision. Blake Harkey, I believe this is Harkey's first lead of the game. It's been a little bit of a tough time in the pack for Harkey. High traffic in the penalty box as we're down to a teeny tiny packlet from Collision. Now the Their packlet of 2 has turned into a trio. Harkey manages to evade that last line of Hooligans defense right on the inside line. Penalty box is emptied out. Both jammers on the track. Big sweeps coming from Collision. And some fantastic spin action from Beast. Adding 4 points to the board. 5 in Collision's favor. Oh, I apologize. 8 in Collision's favor. So at the half, your score, Hooligans 144, Collision 24. We'll be back in just under 15 minutes. Make sure that you're checking us out online. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Hashtag #TalkToBobH. Hashtag BobH2017. We'll be back soon.
Thanks. I assume he means for doing this stream. Really, other than working the front desk, there really isn't anything else I can do. And this is all my stuff, and I know how to do it. So
there you go.
Might as well. 10 seconds.
Oh, I just saw.
We're returning to the Derby action, the second half of Penn Jersey Hooligans versus Collision Men's Derby has begun. My name's Beautiful Banshee. We're back here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2017, and this is Game 5. Oh, jammer drawback. Who knows? Is it a jammer soul crush? No, but enough to detain the collision jammer. That was Grosso off the line, taking Blake Harkey back into turn 4. But take that, Grosso. Blake Harkey takes lead. Pack picks up some speed. Collision coming back from the halftime. Looks like with a little extra fire in their bellies. To the tune of 3 points to Harkey's credit. Starting off first jam, bringing your score to 144 Hooligans, 27 Collision. Hooligans taking the front of the pack. Collision on the line. If you are just joining us, we have Collision Men's Derby in blue, or more of a turquoise actually. It's kind of pretty. Against Hooligans in black. That would be D-Day taking lead over Rusty Nails. We have a bit of a jammer race. Rusty Nails right on D-Day's tail. Hag picking up some speed. Brickhouse getting a little aggressive but hitting the floor because speed and aggression do not always mix. Collision taking the front of the pack. Hooligans having beat them to the line. Your jammers are Betty Switch and Matt Daddy. Betty Switch on those tiptoes, utilizing those toe stops, going round up the inside and cutting through the middle at the front. Lead in her favor. Matt Daddy still battling it out. Looks like he stashed the star, being knocked to the floor by Speed Tree. Betty Switch crashing into her own blocker. These things happen sometimes. She's getting a little extra O in that regard. Both jammers still fighting it out. Mad Daddy still has not broken on the initial. Appears to have passed to Brickhouse. Brickhouse powering it out and around. Number 9, that would be T-Ice. Pivot on Hooligans. Brickhouse ends the jam with a resounding thud on the floor. No points to Collision. 9 points to Betty Switch and Hooligans. This is the second game for each team today. earlier on, actually game 1 was Collision taking on Tampa. And then we had Hooligans taking on Mass Maelstrom. Each team suffered a loss. Boomerang goes around the outside, does end up to the outfield, but it is a no point, no penalty. Not lead, while Beast has lead. Oh, I apologize. Had lead, forearm call on Beast, giving a power jam to Collision. Collision pushing the pack speed a little bit in an attempt to help Boomerang. A strong tripod and then 2 wall of Hooligans taking him to the infield. It appears a multiplayer block assessed to number 4. That would be Nurse Ratchet having a seat in the penalty box. Beast gets a little extra oomph from Boomerang hitting the back of the pack. 10 points up 14 points thus far for Beast to 4. Oh, I apologize. Collision putting up 14 thus far. 4 for Penn Jersey. The best way for me to describe the sound in this venue at this very moment, I'm going to quote Anchorman. Burke said, "Loud noises! Why are you yelling?" Well, it's all of the loud noises right now for Derby because there's cheering, but the majority of that noise is coming from the track. Everyone's communicating. You're hearing the coaches on the sidelines. It was a huge jam for Collision Roller Derby. 22 points to 15. They outskated the Hooligans on that last jam. 168 Hooligans, 49 Collision. Sometimes all it takes for a team to be able to get their minds right and get back at it is to take a few minutes at the half, get centered, and then you come back out and you do your thing. That could be what we're seeing here. Blake Harkey up against Grosso. Both jammers getting caught up in the pack as it pushes past the pivot line into turn 1. Harkey taken back. Grosso works around Brickhouse, although Brickhouse had the hip catch. It was enough to take a few seconds and a little bit of momentum away from Grosso. Hooligans take lead. Grosso comes in, splits up a tripod of collision blockers, manages to call the jam. Clockwise block called. That would be on number 16, Speed Tree. We have a collision blocker with 10 seconds left in the penalty box. So they're starting off even 3-on-3. DJ just pushing his way out right up the middle. No fear and not wasting any time. Rusty Nails jamming for collision. DD comes around into turn 1, taken to the infield. DD had an excellent game earlier, proving to do the same this time around. Picks up 4 points and calls it. 175 Hooligans, 49 Collision. And I just want to clear something up. It appears we had some misinformation in one of my prior ads that we've been promoting today for Turn 2 Skate Shop. We were misadvised that Turn 2 Skate Shop is not, in fact, operated by Kissy Kicks and Grim Demise. It is only operated by Kissy Kicks. So I apologize for the misinformation, but also at the same time, all the action is at Turn 2, and we support Turn 2 Skate Shop. Glad to have them here in-house, and cannot wait to see Kissy Kicks skate with the Rock Coast Rollers Perfect Storm up next against the Bay State Brawlers Punishers. Betty Switch with lead. Matt Daddy fighting it out for Collision, getting caught up in a tough tripod, actually a current 2-wall, raced by General Sofine, and joined by T-Ice and Ventura. It's been a clutch tripod all game long. Big hit on Matt Daddy, spilling to the outside. It appears we have Ventura taking a seat. I think that was a low block call. I didn't catch the actual signal. Ice Switch coming around the outside, forced out at Turn 2. Drawn back by Brickhouse. Matt Daddy able to stay up on one toe stop, make a spinning leg move, but then comes into the back of the Hooligans defense. General Sofine leading him right into the sad place, so to speak, being held by Hef and T-Ice. A jammer penalty at the end of last jam. Betty Switch off to the penalty box. Gives the power start to Collision. But not until she put 10 points up on the board. 185-49 Hooligans up top. Cutting through and picking up lead, although being drawn back. A speed tree running with that drawback, but not enough to hold Boomerang. Betty Switch back on the track. Met in Turn 1 by the Collision defense. They had the drawback, taking her back almost to the pivot line. Betty Switch powering it out, staying in bounds, despite not being lead. Jam is called by Boomerang. 5 points up for Collision, 185-54. 17 minutes, 45 seconds remain in the game. And a quick run off the jammer line, giving lead to Beast. His opposition, Blake Harkey. 4 points up for Beast. See if we have a jammer race. Speed Tree with the hit and the drawback on Blake Harkey. Harkey taken to the infield. Being kept in Turn 4 despite a jammer penalty on Beast. Big hit from Sharkskin did not take Harkey out. 5 up on the board. Pack slowing down in turn 2. Speed trees the pivot. Keeps getting knocked. Not to worry, reforms with his pack. Ventura out there, also known as Gustav Brawler from New Jersey. Beast springs out of the box, puts 5 up on the board, wasting no time. Pack slowing down, turn 3. And unfortunately, not a successful apex jump, but fun to watch nonetheless. Beast pushing up the middle. And the jam reaches its conclusion. 15 points up for the Hooligans, taking them to 200 points. 10 points up for Collision. 16 points for the Hooligans, taking them to 201 over 64 for Collision. Just over 15 minutes remain. Up next, we have our WFTDA sanctioned game featured. It's the one and only Battle of Bunker Hill 2017. It'll be Central Mass's own Bay State Brawlers, Punishers, taking on the perfect storm of Rock Coast Rollers, hailing from Rockland, Maine. Grosso versus Rusty Nails, lead to Grosso. Rusty Nails taken to the back of the pack in turn 1. 2 collision blockers in the box. That pack advantage really working out for the Hooligans. Zombie and General Sofide putting a hurting on Rusty Nails, causing the stash and subsequent pass to number 317. That would be Kid. Kid forces the call as right on Grosso's heels. 10-point jam for the Hooligans, 212 to 64. We have an official timeout right now, and we'd like to thank Turn 2 Skate Shop in Portland, Maine. As you know, coming up next, we have the Rock Coast Rollers Perfect Storm taking on Bay State Brawlers not Petticoat, they're just Punishers now. And on that team is the sole proprietor of Turn 2, Kissy Kicks. So Turn 2 Skate Shop, they provide a personable customer service experience while properly outfitting players from around the world with all of their derby accoutrement. And we're lucky to have them in-house at Battle of Bunker Hill. Don't forget, all the action is at Turn 2 and also on the track here at Battle of Bunker Hill this weekend. Turn2skateshop.com. Returning to gameplay, we have just shy of 14 minutes remaining. Starting Jam 11, your jammers are D-Day for Hooligans and Boomerang representing Collision. D-Day hitting it out against 999. That would be easy button. Getting pressed at the front of the pack. Staying on those very happy feet, putting a 5-point grand slam on the board. That is D-Day. D-Day taken to the outside, courtesy of Brickhouse, strung back to turn 2. Pairs, we've had a helmet cover pass on Collision side to Nathan, number 74, getting caught in that quote-unquote sad place, basically sandwiched between the braced 2-wall. Found a little bit of space, but it is not enough to push through. Swept out by Ventura. 5-point grand slam in favor of D-Day. Another hop, skip, and jump on the apex is a thing of beauty. D-Day keeping it fun. And also hit free. Brickhouse taking D-Day to the infield on turn 1. Running back halfway on that straightaway. Nathan finally breaks the pack. The expression on his face, worthy of a meme. I hope one of our photographers catches that. It's like the feeling when you've been fighting a wall for what seems like 2 hours, but it's only been 2 minutes. 20-point jam for D-Day and the Hooligans. 2:32 to 64, 11 minutes, 25 seconds. That's all that's left, at least in this game. We move on to Game 6, our WFTDA feature. Jam 12, Betty Switch versus Rusty Nails, another familiar matchup. Oh, and it appears to have been an attempt at a hip catch, perhaps some incidental elbow contact, therefore no call against the Collision blockers. Collision with the run back, taking Betty Switch into in between turns 1 and 2. Still fighting at it. That is Rusty Nails. Although Rusty Nails broke through first, he is not lead. Betty Switch gets lead, makes a very smart call up as Rusty Nails knocked to the infield in turn 3. To Rusty Nails' credit, 2 points on the board for Collision. Collision has called an official review. I'll have more details for you shortly. We're awaiting the conclusion on the official review, and we'll return to gameplay shortly. It appears that Collision was seeking a penalty against Hooligans Jammer, but it was found that the no call will stand, and they lose their official review. Back to the track, it's Beast taking lead for Hooligans up against Blake Harkey. Blake Harkey less than a quarter lap behind Beast, but that is enough to force the call off, keeping it a scoreless jam. That has been a rarity for the Hooligans in this game. Boomerang is back at it for Collision up against Grasso. Boomerang up front fighting the Hooligan defense. Grasso able to jump by on the inside line. Collision defense not enough to hold him. Hag picking up a great deal of speed heading into the straightaway after turn 4. Two points for Hooligans, 2:34 to 66. Just shy of 9 minutes remaining. It appears we have all of the merch in the house today. Of course, we have Mass Maelstrom merch. We have a table for Toronto, as well as Bay State Brawlers and Collision. Speaking of Collision, D-Day practically throws himself out and around that last Collision blocker. Takes lead while Matt Daddy is still in the pack. D-Day swept to the infield and cycled back into turn 1, using some quick juking action and a fierce aggressive shoulder, able to take that inside line. Puts a 5-point grand slam on the board. Yosemite Slam doing some great positional blocking and really putting the brakes on Matt Daddy. A little bit of a tumble. Seems it's getting a little messy out there. It's never a good thing. Matt Daddy going for the pass, or an attempt to pass. Huge hit from 1358. That would be Brickhouse taking D-Day to the infield and down, making a very smart call. 14 points to D-Day's credit, keeping Collision at 0 on the last jam, 248 to 66, heading into jam 16. And something to note for all of our fans watching from home or from wherever you are, thankfully being able to take it on the go. Please be aware, if you didn't know, and tell your friends that for every game broadcast here from Battle of Bunker Hill 2017, there is a separate YouTube link. So you'll have to check out Mass Maelstrom's postings for a separate link for each game. As much as some may find that a challenge, it's actually fantastic because of the separate link setup. It allows every game to be immediately archived on YouTube for granting you access to watch time and time again. So pretty sweet deal, and thanks to Rancor here at Mass Maelstrom, he was able to hook that up for us with this excellent stream. And the best part is no one has to pay a dime for it. I don't know. If it's free, it's for me. Maybe. Or the low, low price of free $99. We'll take it. Starting off Jam 17 with some fancy feet up the inside line. That's number 13, Beast. Hooligans have lead. And keeping it fancy with an apex jump. V says, okay, I'm good. Calls it off. 4 points up, 260 to 66. We are officially under 5 minutes. Just fun observations around this venue. I was not aware that there is some sort of small gym workout room here at the Wallace Civic Center. And there's a gentleman who is unaffiliated with Derby in that gym room working out while and very peacefully doing so, completely separate from Derby. And I can see directly into the gym. And I see this gentleman working out while all of this in action is happening on the track. It's an amazing contrast to observe. And also, I find it thoroughly amusing. What else is thoroughly amusing is the fact that we had a stash from Grosso as not lead. The lead went to Boomerang on this jam. And here's Grosso coming around for the scoring pass. Let's see if he grabs any points. Jam was called right as he hit the pack. 5 points to Collision, 260 to 71. That was a goose egg for the Hooligans. Make sure you tag us on social media at Mass Maelstrom. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Mass Maelstrom. Collision is called a team timeout. I'm noticing in the crowd someone was smart enough to bring an air lounger, and it looks so ridiculously comfortable to the point where they could be napping right now. I need to get me one of those. I think it's a great idea. And if anybody wants to bring me one here at Wallace, that would be glorious. I know it's wishful thinking, but hey, you never know. You put it out there. Okay, our team timeout has finished. Getting back to what will likely be our second to last jam of the game. Unless we have an official timeout. Again, big thanks to all of our officials. We appreciate you and all of the other volunteers here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2017. We cannot do this without you. Sincere appreciation on behalf of Mass Maelstrom Roller Derby and all of us in-house this weekend. Oh, the 5 seconds was thrown. The whistle is off. Rusty Nails is jamming up against Grosso. However, Grosso starting the jam in the box, meaning power start for Collision. Rusty Nails fighting it out against Yosemite Slam. Yosemite Slam with a fierce shoulder backwards blocking, cycling Rusty Nails all the way back mid straightaway before turn 1. Cutting the track penalty assessed to Rusty Nails. Right as Grosso is released. Brickhouse taking the run back right to the jammer line against Grosso. But Grosso right back at it with lead, no less. It's always a great feeling. The Hooligans keeping slinging grits to the back, defining the pack. Rusty Nails shouldering it out, pushing the pack of Hooligans to the utmost extent. Five points for Grosso, keeping Collision at 0, 265 to 71. 1 minute, 34 seconds remain in the game. Back advantage to Collision roller derby. Ventura standing in the penalty box. DJ back on the track with lead. His opposition is Boomerang. Boomerang keeping about a quarter lap distance behind D-Day. D-Day runs it out. Perhaps some jammer aggression. Who knows, as Boomerang hot on his heels. Boomerang keeps it cool, but enjoys the fact that they forced the call. Team timeout on behalf of Philadelphia Hooligans. It was a 4-4 jam, that last one, 269 to 75. I have a sneaking suspicion that they just want one more jam. We know how that goes, and it's all fun. As mentioned, make sure you stick around. We have one game left at day one of Battle of Bunker Hill 2017. We have a WFTDA sanctioned game that features the Bay State Brawlers Punishers taking on Rock Coast Rollers Perfect Storm. You should be in for a treat. Oso Blanco Fabuloso will be joining us on the stream for that game. You do not want to miss it. It'll be a great way to close out the day here at Battle of Bunker Hill. Excuse me. Back to the track. Brickhouse being quite the obstacle for Betty Switch. She's able to break free first, taking lead. Blake Harkey, using some fancy sideways skating, manages to maneuver out the pack, hot on Switch's heels. They've really been racing it out lately, the Collision Jammers. Huge pileup on the apex at turn 2. Betty Switch was calling it, but a penalty was called right at Jam's end against Harkey. We will see what happens. 2 points from Betty Switch. 271-75 is the current score. What a way to go out of a game, I guess. Penalty right before the whistle. It appears we do have our final score posted. However, a conversation is occurring with the captains and alts of each team, joined by our head referee. So thank you for bearing with us. Although things seem final, they sometimes are not. Also, there's someone out in the crowd with a nice warm blanket. They have the right idea. It's a little chilly in here. Okay, that is officially the game. 271 Penn Jersey Roller Derby, or as we like to say, the Philly Hooligans versus Collision Men's Derby at 75. Final score. Well played, day one, Battle of Bunker Hill. Our MRDA action is done. Please stick with us for the Bay State Brawlers Punishers in their WFTDA sanctioned game against Rock Coast Rollers Perfect Storm. Lots of great hard-hitting action still ahead. Thank you. I'm Banshee. We'll be back.